Welcome, low ego action heroes and phoenixes. I'm Debbie Levitt from Delta CX. Welcome to Pumpalate and Ana Lucia. And today, let's make sure my TV doesn't go off. Today is Wednesday, from what I hear. So that means it's the Ask Me Anything show. I am happy to take your questions about anything on the mofo planet. You are welcome to ask me absolutely anything. There's no helicopter emoji. Really? No, it's got to be there. Um, uh, okay, maybe I can't fix that, but you are welcome to ask absolutely anything on the planet. And you can ask it in the chat where you'll see it pops up here on the screen with your real or fake name, or you can ask anonymously at dcx.to/q. And if you ask your questions outside of stream time, I catch them and I keep them and we answer them during stream time, which is always archived on YouTube on our Delta CX Hive channel. We're not using the Delta CX channel anymore, but lots of good stuff is archived there. So we did get a question ahead of time today, and it's a really interesting and important one. And thank you to the person who asked it. I'm assuming you'll either watch this live or you'll watch the recording later. So let's make sure we give your question the love that it deserves. And that's not sarcastic, that's serious. So let me read this out loud. And all the questions will always be in the YouTube description. This says, how do you deal with people that make jokes that aren't really funny? They aren't trying to be offensive, but their humor isn't amusing. They will say, you're too sensitive if you confront them directly. I can tell multiple people have problems with this individual. This isn't a work situation, so I can't go to HR. This is a public space that the other person also frequents. I know the easiest solution is avoidance, but I also feel like this person needs to be corrected so it doesn't become another person's problem. So many wonderful things in here that you're saying. And so to the anonymous person, thank you so much for sharing this. We have had these kinds of conversations before on this channel and especially on our other channel. I would say if you go to YouTube and you look up, if you search things like Delta CX narcissist, we've had a couple of shows on dealing with narcissists and malignant narcissists. I think if you look up Delta CX gaslighting, you'll also find one or two shows there as well. So let's work with, there's a lot of great meat and questions in here, and I want to kind of pull this apart into bite-sized pieces. Pampalate says, it would be nice if we had an example of the jokes to work with. I don't think we need them because we can tell that whatever they are, this person is probably saying something that is hurtful or mean, maybe racist. And when other people don't laugh, or if other people say, hey, that's not nice, the problem isn't that the person making the joke isn't being nice. The problem is you. You're too sensitive. Oh gosh, if only you weren't sensitive, my jokes would be fine. The problem isn't me, it's you. So I don't think we need an example here. I get the feeling what this person is hinting at. I can invent some examples and probably be close enough. Sure, examples can always help our conversation, but I don't feel like we really need one here since I think I understand the type of person that we're talking about here. And they are probably a narcissist or malignant narcissist. My answer works. No gaslighting permitted. Ana Lucia says, you're just too sensitive. A joke is only a joke if it's funny for both parties involved. You're a jerk. Yeah, so Ana Lucia has definitely a more confrontational approach to this, possibly saying a joke is only a joke if it's funny for both parties involved. You're a jerk. Pumpalate says, I was told all my life I was sensitive. Now people tell me I'm rude or mean. People can't make up their minds. Yeah, I guess whatever society we're in, we just don't always fit. I can feel that as well. So let's pull apart what this person's saying and talk about some different pieces. So first of all, I want to start at the end, which is this. I feel like this person needs to be corrected so it doesn't become another person's problem. It probably already is. There is a very small chance that this person only does this with you. It is very likely that this person does this with a lot of people when they think they can get away with it. And what does it look like to get away with it? When they get somebody reacting very positively to what they say, then that can be enabling. When they get somebody reacting very negatively to what they say, someone who's hurt, angry, disturbed, unhappy, that enables them because they go, "Oh, cool! That was cool. That got to them. That worked. That was great." So chances are the people who are mean or abusive or manipulative or narcissists or malignant narcissists are usually not that way with only one person on the planet. It's usually something they're doing with many, many people, and it's usually the people that to them are fulfilling a need but are probably disposable. So how can you be disposable to this person? You're saying you know it's best to avoid them, and I would say save yourself only because you can't usually change another person, especially if they don't want to change. It's not like this person has come to you and said, "Holy cats, I've just noticed that I'm a mean and manipulative person. I say awful things, and when people catch me, I pretend it was a joke. Help me. How do I change?" Now, even if that were true and honest and not a manipulation in itself, this person isn't asking that. And so remember, it's not your job to fix or change somebody else, especially when they don't want to. You didn't break them. You can't fix them. I spent way too many years, as I call it, standing in front of a target with being constantly shot at emotionally and mentally and otherwise by people in my family, in air quotes, because I thought maybe if I took that abuse they wouldn't hurt other people. Maybe I could just take it all, and they won't be a problem for someone else. But guess what? That was a sad fantasy. Ultimately I was receiving a lot of abuse, and so were a lot of other people, and me getting abuse didn't mean that these people got it out of their system and then were super kind and wonderful and warm and great to others. No, they were pretty crappy to everybody. Ana Lucia says, usually these guys are idiots who say mean things under the guise of being a joke because they think free speech and a joke can't be taken seriously. It's an excuse they use to be mean, and then the "you're too sensitive" is simply gaslighting. Jokes can be hurtful. A joke is only a joke if you laugh. If you don't laugh, then it's not one. And again, it's up to you how you want to deal with this person. For what, and I would say pick whatever is safest for you, whether that's physical safety or emotional safety or just protecting your energy. You do not have to talk to this person. You do not have to take their crap. If you can avoid them, avoid them. Everybody should avoid them. But if you have the option to avoid them, avoid them. If they come up to you and want to make small talk, no thanks. You know, and depending upon what the situation is, and if you feel safe with this person and we don't know their gender, um, you might say, "Look, we're not really friends. Most of the time when I talk to you, you make jokes that I don't find funny. You tell me I'm too sensitive. Th- This isn't a positive experience. Please go talk to somebody else." And then they'll probably go, "Oh, you're so blah, blah, blah." I'll go, "I don't care. You're not my friend. I don't care what you say." And I think the trick is for people to genuinely not care. Because if you really care, but you try to pretend you don't, these types of mean people can usually sense that. And they love to keep digging in and hoping that you care. Ana Lucia says also a note. Be wary of anyone who says mean jokes or mean jokes and then uses some sort of diagnosis to excuse their bullshit. A diagnosis is not an excuse to be a jerk, and that's final. Mean jokes are mean things. Yes, I agree. Sometimes people will say very, very hurtful things, and when you say, "Hey, that's not cool," and they'll say, "Well, I have such and such a diagnosis," and I'll go, "Cool. If you know that, then do something about it." I've gotten into some ugly fights with people who thought I hate all mentally ill people or I hate all insert word here people because when they said terrible, mean, racist, hurtful things about other people. And I said, hey, that's not okay here. And then they're like, oh, well, you're against all of us who struggle with that. No, I support you, but I don't support you being mean. That's 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 where I get off the bus. I support you. I hope you have a happy, positive existence. I hope you can improve or work with whatever diagnosis or condition you have, but that doesn't give you the right or power to be mean or hurtful to others. And if you think it's a joke, I, I'm I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry that you think something hurtful, racist, inappropriate, whatever is a joke. So I think that if I had to deal with this person, if they said you're too sensitive, I would say you're not sensitive enough. And you know what? We're not friends. So, how about next time we see each other, we just don't chat? It's just not worth it. Bye. And then you have to have boundaries and keep those boundaries. If you run into that person, if they go, hey, hey. So usually what happens when a malignant narcissist or manipulative abusive person realizes they don't have power over you, they try covering you in butter. They try the sugar approach. Hey, they see you again. Hey, I'm really sorry about those things I said last time. You're right. They weren't jokes. They were kind of mean. And I think we could be friends. And, will you give me another chance? Me? No. I won't give those people another chance because I believe that the being nice is just as much of a manipulation as the being mean. And I recognize the game, the push pull game of pulling you in closer with apologies and kind words. Hey, you look great today. Hey, I'd like to get to know you better. Hey, it was good to see you at yoga class. And then pushing you away with meanness, abusive language, manipulation, cruel jokes, etc. Ana Lucia says a diagnosis is not a get out of jail card. They can also avoid you like the plague. They hate being called out, but hey, the trash took itself out. Yeah. So as this person's story says, they aren't trying to be offensive is the second sentence in the question. And you know what? They might be. So, another healthy thing for you is to not make any assumptions about this person's intentions. Because I find that sometimes people stay in friendships or relationships or acquaintanceships because they make excuses for someone who doesn't deserve the excuses. If they're not trying to be offensive and they're consistently offensive, then they're amazing at being offensive without trying. That's an amazing track record. Not trying to be offensive and offensive every time. So much so that you're asking me if how can we avoid this person or correct them? So I would suggest to you they might be trying to be offensive or they might be trying to be spicy. They might be trying to get a reaction out of you. Whatever it is, they're trying something. There's a game here. So for us to assume they're not trying to be offensive, I don't see anything in your story that wins that person that grace. I am not sure why we are giving this person the grace of, oh, they're not trying to be offensive, but they're a dick every time you see them. So, hey, what's going on here? Because that's an amazing track record for them to be that awful, that consistently without even trying. My thought would be they are trying and they probably like the way you react. Why? Because then they can make you even smaller. They get to say this thing, they get to see your reaction. You don't like it. People like that usually love feeling power over another person, so it gives them a sense of ooh, power. Ooh, I got that person again. I said that thing and I could just see them. They didn't like it. And then when you say, "Hey, that's really not a kind thing to say," or "What the fuck," or whatever you say, and then they can turn it back on you. Well, you're the problem. You're too sensitive. Sometimes I say to people, yeah, you know what? I am sensitive. I'm sensitive. I'm caring. I'm sympathetic. I'm empathetic. And if you're not, then we're not going to make good friends. So it's probably best if we just don't talk ever again. I'm just too sensitive. Let's not talk. And then if they come up to me again at an event or a supermarket or whatever, hey, have you been? I haven't seen you in a while. Thanks for asking, but I still don't want to talk to you. Well, you're a bitch and you're, da, da, and this is why I don't want to talk to you. Look at your behavior right now. This is why I don't want to talk to you. Please just go away. Oh, well, you're a snob. You think you're so much better than everybody. This is the evidence I have for not wanting a friendship with you. You can continue adding to that evidence, but you're only teaching me that I've made the right decision to not talk to you. Please go away. I don't want to have to call store security to make you go away. Um, Ana Lucia says that's just what they say. So people think the problem is with them for not finding them funny. It's not the problem here. Yeah, so you're not the problem for not finding them funny, but you might accidentally be adding to the situation here. You didn't create the problem. You can't fix the problem. But what happens is these situations become games, even when we don't know it. And this person's going to say things to see you react and to see you, and then they're going to pile it on by saying you're the problem, you're sensitive, you don't have a good sense of humor. You've probably heard that one. You don't even get jokes. You don't have a good sense of humor. You're too sensitive. Oh, you're a crybaby. They'll come up with all the things, and usually I just love to agree. I just love to go, yeah. I'm a sensitive, caring person, and what you're saying doesn't work for me. So we probably shouldn't be friends. Bye. And I walk away. What are they going to do? Run after me? If they run after me, oh no, I'm sorry. I don't know. No, you're not sorry. And that's okay. You don't have to be sorry, but I'm not going to pretend you're sorry. Please go away. We're not friends. But we also have to remember that I am a bold person with very little fear, and I have to measure what I'm going to say to people in what situations just to make sure I'm safe. If this person is truly all talk and you are physically safe, then you can stand up to this person if you feel like that's right for you. I think avoidance is still the best way to go. But if this person tries to chat with you somewhere, sometimes it's best to just close a door and hope that they respect the closed door. And if they don't respect the closed door and they show up again wanting to chat with you or whatever, and you just have to maintain your boundaries, because once you loosen the boundaries, they learn, this person is flexible. This person will say no to me and later they'll say yes to me. So I just have to keep pushing. If you don't want that person to keep pushing, then you have to maintain your boundaries and teach them that we're not friends, or I don't want to talk to you, that is what you've decided, and that is what's going on here. Ana Lucia says, I may have sounded a bit bold, but my honest reaction would be rolling eyes and never talking to that person again. Gray rock, yay. And gray rock is hard. Gray rock takes a lot of time for people to master, because sorry, I don't want to say master, for people to get good at, because it usually requires you to genuinely not care. And I so naturally don't care about any of this stuff. And I think it's part of why some malignant narcissists don't go after me, or go after me once and then give up, because they realize they're not going to have power over me. They're not going to get the reaction they're hoping to get over me. They're not going to feel like they're not going to be able to build a relationship in which I trust them or need them or rely on them or tell them my secrets. Like they're not going to get what they want out of me, which is to feel that sense of power over me. So, yeah, it reminds me of a crappy guy I dated for about 3 seconds, and we were driving home from somewhere, and we were talking, and I don't even remember what I said, but he said, "Well, I don't like what you just said, and if you're ever going to say anything like that again, then we should just break up now." And I said, "Okay, but will you drive me home, or are you going to leave me on the highway?" And he didn't know what to do with that, because he was really hoping to manipulate me. He was hoping I'd be like, "Oh no, no, I'm so sorry. Of course, I want to keep dating you. Oh my God, I'll never say something like that again." And actually, now that I think about it, I said to him, "Oh, I probably will say something like that again. So will you drive me home, or are you leaving me here on the highway?" And he didn't know what to do with that because he didn't get the answer he wanted. He didn't get the, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. You're right. I shouldn't have said that. I'll never say anything like that again. Oh my God, did I hurt you? I've done a bad thing." This is usually what these people want. They want you to be smaller and they want you to be powerless. By the way, if you have any question on any topic, you can put it in the chat or send it to dcx.to/q. We're happy to talk about any topic here, personal or work. Everything is open. And yeah, Ana Lucia says, "I learned that the hard way. I had to learn to stop caring or stop talking BS. I'm too old and too busy for their BS. If they don't like it, they can take their business somewhere else. I simply don't give a damn for those who can't reciprocate." Yeah, I feel like I have no poops left to give for anybody who can't carry on a reasonable relationship with me. And I've said goodbye to blood family members. I've said goodbye to people who I thought were very close friends because I just ran out of patience with the abuse and the negativity. Ana Lucia says, "We're not in high school anymore." So true. Very, very true. Um, so, yeah, so again, looking at the original question, lots of people have problems with this person. They aren't trying to be offensive. They probably are. Their humor isn't amusing. It's probably not even meant to be humor. And sometimes a person says these things to try to figure out who's already on their team. Like, let's say a person, doesn't even matter their gender, says, well, women should really stay home and have babies and never learn to read. Let's just pretend. If anyone standing in that circle in that moment goes, yeah, well, that person knows they've just found a new buddy. And the rest of the people can be like, what? And then that guy can be like, "Oh, you're too sensitive. You can't take a joke." And it wasn't a joke. That's probably something that person believes in a small or large way. And they're just trying to feel out who in the group believes that. And then they're also trying to feel out who in the group they can make miserable and have power over and ruin your day and talk crap. I read the question again, and it sounds so much like the popular crowd in high school, doesn't it? It's funny. I never thought much of the popular crowd. I certainly wasn't in them, and I always thought they were low intelligence losers making poor life decisions. And I think I turned out to be right about that. But I'm that weirdo. So yeah. So to this person, I say, save yourself. Put your own oxygen mask on. If you see this person in a public space from time to time, avoid them. If they try to start a conversation with you, you can just say, "Hey, whenever we talk, you say something unacceptable. I indicate it sucks, and you tell me I'm too sensitive. So, uh, I guess I'm just too sensitive. So, we shouldn't be friends. Please don't talk to me anymore." "Oh, well, and you have to be ready for all of the crap that person's going to sling at you. It's going to be a lot of sentences that have the word "you" in them. And normally I just go, "Sure. Oh, sure. If I'm all those things, then these are even better reasons for us to not be friends. Cool. Bye. We agree. I don't want to be friends with you. You think I'm a pile of bad things? Awesome. We agree. We're not going to be friends. Please don't talk to me anymore." And usually that you run the risk that you wind that person up, but you're not meaning to. But I just think, hey, I agree with you. I'm oversensitive. I'm a terrible person. I'm a loser. I'm a bitch. I'm all those things. Great. We can agree. Sounds like somebody you wouldn't want to be friends with, right? Don't waste your time. Ana Lucia says, I wasn't part of the popular crowd either, but they were always trying to get social approval with those kinds of jokes that aren't actually funny. And well, it may have worked back then because kids are mean, but not as adults. Yeah, plenty of adults are mean, and plenty of adults do all of this stuff. Some of them do it on purpose, some of them do it without thinking because they noticed it works well for them or it feels good. All right, that one got like a good 20 minutes. So hopefully that gives that person some ideas. If you have a follow up question, excuse me, a follow up question or some commentary, let me know. But this is Ask Me Anything, and you are welcome to ask me anything. Can be about life things or work things. I'm usually here for about an hour. If there aren't any other questions, we can wind down early. For the people who are here live, especially if you're watching on LinkedIn, I'm thinking about changing the times of these shows to much earlier in the day. Let me know what you think about changing the times. Also, I'm going to pop into LinkedIn and see why I'm not getting questions. Also, not seeing a notification that I'm live on LinkedIn. I seem to have stopped getting those. Let's see. Hmm, I see it now. Okay. Okay, I see it now. So yeah, people in LinkedIn, any questions, any follow-up questions, any topics you want to talk about, I am here for you. This time is yours, no charge. Anything you would like to talk about? Hello, LinkedIn people. I see a few of you watching. I don't get to see what your names are, but I do see the number of people viewing, so I know there's a handful. And hello. So, any other questions? Let me know. I've got my email open on my phone, and I'm watching for any anonymous questions that come through dcx.to/q for question. Sometimes people want to talk about work or startups or anything. Oh, okay. Ana Lucia's got a question. Let's copy and paste that. Hold on. Paste. And let's put that one up. Okay. Okay. The question we got says, quick question. Would you interpret an email saying the position was put on hold due to restructuring as a red flag? Yes and no. In some ways, it's no flag because the job is gone. And so someone has decided that since we are making some sort of internal organizational changes to our company, we don't need to hire someone in this job. So it's kind of no flag. No job. But do I think it's a red flag that a company is ending jobs before they start? Yes, I think that's not a good sign. That's probably not a sign of company growth. Reorganizations and restructures are usually trouble and bad news. I've rarely seen one where afterwards I've been like, oh wow, that restructuring was really good for the company. They really made some great changes. It's so good that this team is now under this leader. Wow, this is great. I'm sure that must happen from time to time, but I don't see it. So I think in general, anytime there's that sort of reorganization or restructuring, that something not good is happening at the company. They are probably consolidating teams and moving them from being under multiple leaders to under one leader. They're usually cutting open jobs. They might be laying people off. So I think my main answer to that would be it could be a red flag, but it's probably not a company I would apply to again, only because I would be concerned that in the future they might lay people off. that maybe they can't seem to budget for a job and still need that person, because nothing says that a company has to reorganize or restructure and close open jobs. You can still hire into those positions, um, unless that's now money you don't want to spend because you don't think you need those people. Ana Lucia says they had like 4 or 5 UX positions open for 2 countries, and all of a sudden they were gone. And then I got that email, and it was just UX. Yeah, exactly. It sounds like something not great happened to the UX team or department. If they had restructuring, that team probably got smaller. 4 or 5 jobs that they were budgeting for are probably now zero. They might have even laid off people, so the team is not growing and could even be getting smaller. Very often in a restructuring, they've moved the team under a different department. So UX might now be under engineering, marketing. We don't even know. So to me, it might be a red flag, but probably better for you to be turned down now than to be caught in whatever mess is happening at this company. Pumpalate says, another question. Oh, okay, great. Let's copy paste this and put it up on the screen and in the what will be the YouTube description. Okay. This question says, do you think UX positions are becoming a luxury in some companies? Like sustainability, diversity related roles have become the last few years with all the layoffs. Um, this is a hard one to answer because this is about perspective. There are times where I talk to people about UX or CX or things like that, and they say, "Well, research is a luxury." And my thought is, according to whom? Because every company on the planet is doing research in one way or another. If you run a survey, you're doing research. If you send out an NPS questionnaire, you're doing research. If you're calling up customers for customer conversations or asking them what they need or what our system is missing, you're doing research. So I think the problem is we use that term, oh, it's a luxury, as a way of saying, we just don't want to spend time or money on it. And but usually I have to point out to people, you already are. And sure, maybe you don't want to spend more time or money on it, but let's take a look at what you're doing right now, and are you doing things well? So you could say research and researchers are a luxury, but if that were really true, what could we cut? Like, do you want to cut all the research? Do you want to never run a survey, never talk to a customer because research is a luxury? So I think sometimes we say a job is a luxury as a way to make it sound like we don't really need that person. And there's someone out there who genuinely believes that, but that doesn't mean it's the right thing for the company. So you can say, for example, like here in the question, sustainability. Oh, that's a luxury only if you don't believe in sustainability. If you believe in sustainability, then having at least one person or a team working on it or towards it is not a luxury. It's part of your company charter. It's part of your values, your ethics, your North Stars, if you believe in sustainability and care about it, then people who are helping you be more sustainable aren't a luxury. They're part of what you believe in. If you is diversity a luxury? Only if you don't believe in it. When you believe in these things, magically we have time and money and the budget and the headcount and the jobs. Is product management a luxury? Only if you don't believe in it. Pampalate says, well, I guess it's a luxury in a way that they don't want to have a dedicated person and pay for it. Right. If you believe in sustainability and you want your company to be more sustainable or to care about sustainability, then you have to have at least one person working on sustainability. assessing how sustainable we are now, having a goal for how sustainable our product, services, whatever should be, and helping us get to those goals, even one person. But if you say, oh, we want to be more sustainable, but sustainability is a luxury, then you don't really want it. And you might as well just admit that, because I'm not going to believe that you really want it. If you really want it, you've got to have at least someone working on assessing where you are now, having a goal and moving you towards it. Diversity. If you don't care about diversity, you will have nobody working on it, and you can pretend, oh, it's a luxury. Oh, these are salaries we don't really need. Oh, this is money we don't have to spend. Okay, maybe not, but then is diversity a priority to you? I would say no, no matter what you say. If you don't have at least somebody assessing your diversity, setting a goal, and helping move you towards it, then diversity is not a priority for you. And let's not pretend the problem is budget, or let's not pretend the problem is luxury, whatever that means, because it's just not a priority to you. Engineering might be a priority to you. You've got zillions of them. Marketing might be a priority to you. You've got lots of people working on marketing. Whatever your company has decided a priority is where you put the budget and the time and the money and the workers. And then the stuff you don't want to do, you pretend, oh, well, that's a nice to have. That's a luxury. We don't need that. Fine. You don't have to need that. You don't have to hire those people, but let's not pretend it's because it's a luxury. It's because you just don't believe in anybody doing that job. Wherever you believe in people doing the work is where you put people. Ana Lucia says, I would say luxury is positions like chief happiness officer, who are there for who knows. I'm not saying workers shouldn't be happy. I'm wondering what they do all day. So I just found that some companies renamed their HR team chief happiness officer because they were trying to make it sound like those people were there for you and not to save the company's ass from lawsuits. So I've seen some people who were happiness chief happiness officer stuff. It was really just a cute title for an HR person, but obviously, again, if they're not living up to that, if they're not making sure workers are happy and safe and taken care of and not abused, then F your funny title, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your title is if nobody is following through on this. So, I don't think that any position is a luxury if it's a position that our company needs. And when it comes to things related to the user experience, there's going to be a user experience whether or not you research it, whether or not you design it. Every potential customer and member of your ecosystem has experiences with your company. They have experiences before they buy, they have experiences while buying, they have experiences as a paying customer, they have experiences after they run screaming from your company. So you decide what roles you need at your company that will support that. You want conversions, you want retention, you want loyalty, you want growth, you want product market fit. Okay, which positions do you need that will make sure that those things happen increasingly and efficiently? If you think you don't need a sustainability officer or team, that's your choice. If you think you don't need a diversity officer or team, that's your choice. If you think HR is only there to keep the company from lawsuits and it's not there to support workers, that's your choice. Every company gets to choose what they prioritize and how they spend their money. So I don't think UX is a luxury, just like I don't think good engineers are a luxury. I don't think great marketers are a luxury. I don't think great strategists are a luxury. But there's going to be some companies out there who go, oh, we can't afford that, or we don't need that, or that's just a luxury. I mostly hear that from startups. We don't need research. That's a luxury. According to whom? Where'd you get that? What's that mean? What would it look like for research to not be a luxury and be an everyday affordable item? Like, what does this mean? Like, research is a luxury, but Designing and building the wrong thing is not a luxury. It's a luxury to be able to afford bad decisions. That's where the real luxury is, in my opinion. Ah, but thank you. That was a good chat. And people might not agree with me, and that's okay too. Let's see what's in my email. The answer is a response from Larry Marine. I sent him a T-shirt I'm thinking of wearing to a conference, and he's saying, "Oh no, write this instead." So um, he won't be there, but I will be there, and I want a shirt that will get me business. Luxury is CEOs having a salary that is 291 times higher than that of a regular employee. Sure, if we start listing luxuries, bad decisions are luxuries. Amazing that you have the time, the spare time, and the spare money to get it wrong and get it wrong again. How luxurious. CEO salaries, luxurious. But to me, mistakes, which aren't even mistakes. If you've heard any of my PowerPoint slides or read any of my books, you know that most of our mistakes aren't mistakes. They're bad decisions. Bad decisions are luxuries. How luxurious that you get to make bad decisions, knowingly or unknowingly, and guess again after you mess it up. Wow, what a luxury. That's the true luxury. Cutting people is just cutting people, and whatever fake excuse we've made up for it is just another fake excuse. That's what I think of that. LinkedIn, what do you think of that? Any other thoughts or questions for this week? Anybody have an opinion on me starting to move these shows significantly earlier? I've been doing them at 7 p.m. Um, Italy time, and I think I'm thinking about 3 p.m. Italy time. So it would be early morning in America, maybe a commute watch for some of you, American Canada, South America, um, or something you watch later in the day, commute home. But I'm thinking about freeing up my evenings and moving stuff earlier. And I think I'll just schedule some things earlier and see how it goes. You know, might as well experiment. We can't really know until we try. That is the facts. Ana Lucia says, that's exactly what Larry said yesterday on my post, and that's so true. How can they afford to make bad decisions? Yeah, it's a question I keep asking in many of my books and many of my articles. How do we have the time and money to keep making bad decisions, to have cycles of failure, or as my new book calls it, failure squared? Failure and then failing to learn from failure. How do we have time and money for that? But we don't have time for the research that every single book you've ever read says you should do? As my new book points out, sales books tell you to understand your customers and why they're buying or not buying. Marketing books tell you understand your potential and current customers so you can market and advertise to them. Product management books tell you to understand your customers so you can get product market fit and fit stuff to them. Business books tell you to understand your customers. UX and CX books are, of course, going to tell you to understand your customers. Design thinking is going to tell you have empathy for your customers, which comes through understanding them, not guessing about them or making up lies about them. Lean Startup says get out of the building, talk to your customers and potential customers. Every but continuous discovery habits. Why is it called that? The word discovery. We are supposed to continually do discovery research to keep learning about our customers and the opportunities to serve them. Sure, Teresa and I don't agree on a lot of things, but she's trying to tell you to go do some discovery research. And you're not even doing that because you decided, that's a luxury. Ana Lucia says, "While I'm unemployed, I think I can watch the streams. If I get a job, it may be harder, but the job market is crappy." Yeah, and if I go live and nobody's there, then it's probably not the right time. But then again, who knows? Maybe I might find that live I get fewer people, but later on I get more people watching the recording. Who knows? In reality, I think nearly every YouTuber I watch does pre recorded videos. I'm the weirdo doing live streams, and we know that YouTube loves to kill them in the algorithm unless you have a huge following. There's one YouTuber I follow who does a live stream, I think twice a month. I'm doing it twice a week. And I do get notified of that person's streams. Um, but otherwise, everything else they put up is pre-made, polished, edited videos. So, I think YouTube doesn't love live streams the way Twitch does. Twitch is more fine tuned for the in the moment engagement and live watching. And Twitch doesn't even care if you put up your video for others to see later. It was like, you had to be there. Whereas YouTube really wants you to put up a pre-made thing and let it get lots of comments and likes. And now YouTube has, I think, hype. You can give a video points. And if you give a video points, YouTube is more likely to recommend it to others. So, the stream format is not YouTube's preferred universe. But I tend to interact with you through questions and conversations. So it doesn't make sense for me to switch to a pre made video format. Getting some private messages, but not any other questions. But again, we can wrap up. I was going to wrap up a little early. 2 Wednesdays a month, I have calls that start in about 10 minutes from now. And so I've got to wrap up a little bit early anyway on those days. So let's see. Um, you can do live on TikTok. Yeah, I don't think these formats are right for me because I'm a long show format. A lot of my shows are 20 minutes. My shorter shows are 20 minutes. My longer shows can be an hour or more. So I think that any platform that is fine tuned for the hit and run dopamine short video thing, and YouTube is certainly fine tuned for the shorts as well. I think it's not going to be the right platform. And some people say to me, "Oh, you can do longer videos on TikTok." Yeah, I'm doing hour long videos. I don't think that's really what people go to TikTok for. And I have to remember that a lot of TikTok is for entertainment. Not all of it, but a lot of it. Just saying hi, says Pepe Jeans. Hi, Pepe Jeans. How are you? How are you, plural? You and your special person. I think about you and special person and hope you're both doing well. Um, yeah, so I think the downside is that I'm not even sure what is to me the best place for me is Twitch. Twitch is the right place because it's in the moment, it's live, we can turn this into a conversation, the delay is short. If someone writes something on YouTube, I see it 40 seconds later. If you write it on LinkedIn, I see it 2 minutes later. Twitch is really fine tuned for the live streamer trying to have a sense of community. YouTube is really fine tuned for the short video, sometimes a long video that's pre-recorded and goes up, and you'll watch it when you feel like it. And LinkedIn is fine tuned for nothing at this point, is how I feel. Yeah. So that is it. Like I just asked Pepe Jeans how Pepe is doing. Pepe has not responded. Probably not because Pepe doesn't want to talk to me, but because it takes 45 seconds for my message to get to them. Then they have to type and then it's got to come back. Like it's just slow. But I hope Pepe is doing well. Um, oh, thank you, we Gucci. World is complicated. I dodged Middle East troubles. Yeah, but you don't live near the Middle East, last I checked. Last I checked, you were in a relatively safe place. Pepe, is there something I don't know? I thought you were living in Eastern Europe. Pepe, don't make me scared for you. But anyway, I'm happy to hear you're both good. Um, And yeah, so I've got another call in 10 minutes. I'm going to start scheduling some Take Action Tuesdays for earlier in the day, just as an experiment, and we'll see. No, but I visited. Oh, yeah, that's some scary crap right now. So I'm very happy that you got in and got out. I even got an email today from the State Department in America reminding me, like, basically, don't go places. So, yeah. Yeah, so I'm gonna schedule some Take Action Tuesdays for earlier in the day. Let's see how they go. We'll just try some experiments, and we'll see how it goes. I had originally tried to make things later, thinking people wanted to watch these after their workday, but I think people just like to watch videos when they feel like it, and what time I stream might not matter. So even if I get a few people showing up and there's a conversation, that's great. Or if I'm just doing a topic and I talk and there's nobody there and people watch it later, that's great too. I think that's the bottom line is like I don't have KPIs and standards for these videos. The story I tell myself when none of you are around is if I help one person today, everything's worth it. That's it. If one of you enjoys part of the show, enjoys all of the show, tries something new, thinks about something differently, takes a step forward on something you were afraid to move forward on, if anything, if I can inspire anything, all of it's worth it. And if you see it live, great. And if you watch it later at 2x, great. I just want to make a difference. That's all. And I wish I weren't shadow banned on every platform, but at the same time, a lot of my favorite YouTubers are streaming and not streaming, are posting videos saying, "Oh my god, please buy from our sponsors and please support our Patreon because they can't even make money on YouTube." I was looking at a video the other day and I was thinking, "Oh, I really like this YouTuber. Oh, their video is doing great. It's got 123,000 views." And I was like, wow, imagine that. Yeah, I don't think I've ever had a video with more than maybe 10,000 views, and that was pushing it. I think a lot of them get under 100. And so I was like, wow, 123,000 views. And then I did the math and I realized that person probably got $700 in the ad revenue, like 600 euros. For 123,000 views and all the work they probably put into that video. Of course they need a Patreon. Of course they need sponsors. You can't you're living and dying on YouTube views, but the ad money isn't going to get you there. There's a YouTuber I follow with like 12 million, it has some wild number of followers, and every time they put out a video it gets millions of views, and they just admitted they don't have ads on any of their views. And I'm thinking, all this time I assumed this person was rich because they had no Patreon, no sponsors. I figured they must just be getting ad revenue, and they've got all these videos with millions of views. They're making thousands of dollars on every video. And then they were like, oh, we don't have any of them monetized. And I'm thinking, why? Why? You're so lucky to have the views. Go ahead, take a few cents. Please take our money. We like you. All right, now I've got a call in 5 minutes. So I'm going to start the closing music and thank everybody for hanging out. We'll try some Tuesday shows at new times, probably starting next week. Wednesday shows we'll keep at the same time just to see what happens first with the Tuesday shows. It'll be a little weird, but we'll experiment with it. Bye bye. Bye bye, Pumpalate. See everybody soon. And of course, see you in our Discord. Thanks, everybody. Bye.